Magic Maker: How to Make Magic in Another World. 12 episode fantasy, isekai, and a light novel adaptation. Now, in this one, before our main character got isekai, he was just a guy who was extremely obsessed with magic to such a degree that he failed to do a proper connection with the people around him from middle school, high school, university, the workplace, all never making a true connection with anybody else. And he even grasping on straws with the whole thing of if you're 30 years old and you're still a virgin, you become a wizard. Obviously, that doesn't happen in real life. I know, first-hand experience. But our main character suddenly received a heart attack, not caused by anything. So I don't know natural causes, I guess. And now he's a baby to a new family, and now his new name is Xian. Now Xian has a new father and mother, and the mother is a MILF Betty, and a older sister named Marie. Now Marie practically love at first sight, declare herself that she's going to be the best big sister ever and take good care of his little brother. But throughout the years, she sees that her little brother Shion is a little bit depressed. Seeing how he once in a while just stares in the sky, making a sad face, catching him in the back of the house doing weird movements and trying to scream stuff like fireball and magic and all of that stuff. And the problem is that not apparently a few years ago when he was well, yes, a few years ago he asked his father right outright, hey, about magic and stuff, and his father never heard of it. I don't think that I have magic. No, I don't think it exists, and that's because that's the reason why our character Shun is a little bit depressed. But Mary, wanting to be the best big sister ever, she goes to a nearby lake, discover a mysterious glow. She thinks, oh, maybe this is the magic that my little brother talks about. They go to the lake, run some experiments to see what's the cause of the glow, putting in buckets different stuff like sand, the seaweed life, the fish, and so on and so on. And through the experiment they discovered that you have to have the male and female fish in proximity with one another to create that mysterious glow that appears all magical and stuff. And and that's where it gets a little bit to the right direction. Mary declaring herself, oh, just like these two fish in proximity with one another, I'm going to marry my brother Shion. And Shion says, no, we're brother and sister, we cannot get married. And Mary being devastated, cries to her mother, saying, I'm going to marry my brother. Obviously, the mother also saying the same thing, no, your brother and sister, you cannot get married. So Mary being super distraught, so Shian, to cheer her up, he pretty much declared his undying love for her. In big story short, pretty much that thing. He declares his undying love for her. He's not going to marry anybody else. If they need children, he's just going to adopt. Pretty much being in a relationship without really being in a relationship. And when he declared his undying love for her, suddenly his own body started to glow, the same light that those two fishes did. And throughout experimentation, he figured out that it's strong emotions that causes the glowing light or magical energy to appear. So from then on, he does experiments. He grows, started to create magic, and getting stronger, and so on and so on. And yes, to not spoil anything, I'm going to leave it there. So now that's the general plot about the anime. He creating magic, just like the title says. Now, some things that I did like about this anime is the monsters, the goblins and the kobolds. I don't know if they wanted to do something different. Maybe they say, "Oh, that let's not do the same typical design that every single fantasy anime does. Let's essentially change it up a bit." And I don't know if they put it's like they put the typical goblin design or kobold design to a nightmare filter, and it came out like nightmare feel, like something that you will see from a horror movie or something. And no, I know that goblins are already scary, but to put it, the best way that I can put it is, you know, Huggy Wuggy from Puppy Playtime. You know the nightmare. Huggy Wuggy is already somewhat scary, but in the nightmare sequence, when he's even more scary, the nightmare version, I would say something close to that. Close to that, where the goblin is already scary from your typical fantasy anime, and they just made it even more scary nightmare feel. I'm going to obviously put some photos for you to see, but I was very impressed with the redesign of your typical monsters. Now, other thing that I did like, well, one thing that did got me worried for a bit is that our main character Xian, in order to facilitate himself to be able to do magic, he from the blacksmith orders a pair of gauntlets, because to be able to, he cannot create, at least not yet, he cannot create a fire or lightning or anything of the sort just from thin air. He need the a proper source. He cannot just create fire from thin air, like from his hand. He needs a fire source, a spark or something, and then he can create the fire. So he had those gauntlets ready made, and when he got the gauntlet for the first time, it was 3D, a 3D model, and it looked very weird, and it got me worried for a minute for the anime, because it just looks so out of place with the whole body being 2D, and the gauntlets from the elbow to the fingers being 3D CGI. But luckily, that was only for literally like the 5 minutes from the end of the episode when he put the gauntlet for the first time. From the second episode onwards, the gauntlets are properly 2D drawn. So it was quick and painless. It was pretty much the last 5 minutes of the of I think, I don't even think it was 5 minutes. I think it was like the last 3 minutes, I think. So yes, it was the CGI gauntlets was quick and painless. Now, there was also the side cast of character. A childhood friend that always spends time with Mary and Xian, whose name is Rose. And honestly, I can see our main character Xian being in uh, a harem situation with both Mary and Rose. And by the way, I have to premise this by saying, because this is a little bit spoilerish, but she is discovered later on that Xian is not blood related by Mary with Mary, and not even he's not he's practically adopted. This is a spoiler. The reason how he came to their lives and all of that, you have to watch the anime to find out, but they're not blood related. And I'm saying this because they're even if the I would say the first 6 episodes of the series, you obviously don't know that information that yet. So maybe the very closeness a somewhat lovey-dovey relationship between the two might make some of you uncomfortable. And I know that even saying that they're not blood related, you might think even if they're not blood related, it still makes me uncomfortable. And I hear you, but this is anime and this is fantasy, and trust me, there has been worse. There has been literal anime in the past where even completely blood related, not adopted, no nothing, blood related from the same mother and father, and the two still get together for creepy reasons. But hey, if this bothers you, you don't have to watch this anime. If you're someone like me that says, hey, it's anime, I can give it a pass or something like that, as long as well, this maybe give it a shot. So yes, other than Rose, yes, there's other characters that are introduced along the way. Some of them interesting, some of them not so much, but they only appear a little while and they go away. So it's not annoying when they appear. And the and honestly, I do like the how the main character Xiang, he's very to like he could have been a scientist in his previous life, because the way he goes about making magic, different magic spells, and so on and so on, he he's very thorough with his experiments, always doing the saying, okay, I can do these spells, but how long can I do this spell for, how big the range, what happens if I do this, what happens if I do that, and they doing the experiment again and again and again. It's like the whole thing with the light bulb. Oh, I discovered 99 ways how to not make a light bulb, and I discovered one way how to do make a light bulb. I don't think I said it right, but you get the gist of it. So the I do I personally did like this anime. Now I think I'm going to leave it here. So I'm going to give this one the score of 6. A 6 out of 10. Now, even though that I personally did like this anime, it is I'm not going to it is very difficult to me to put in words what makes it a 6, because personally I wanted to give it a 7, but taking into account the character, the story, the whole plot progression and everything else, I think that giving it a 6 is a fair score. So I'm just going to leave it here. So have a good day, have a good night, wherever you're from, and see you next video.